Hello, it's Teresa with Stampin' with Teresa, and I'm coming to you tonight to teach you how to make a cute little holder for a little pocket back from Bath and Bodyworks. This is an appropriate gift right now for friends and neighbors and family members that you can drop off on their porch. People still need to go get groceries, and if you're watching this in the future, this is being taped during the great coronavirus pandemic, which is called COVID-19, and we're all at home right now. So let's get crafty while we're at home. Let's just use whatever supplies we have on hand, and all you need is a piece of cardstock. I'm just using a piece of Whisper White from Stampin' Up. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to trim this. Actually, it's a strange measurement, but bear with me because I invented this box based off of the actual size and measurements of the little PocketBac. So what you're going to do is you're going to trim it to 6 1/16, and hopefully I am in frame here. And basically what that means is you go to 6 inches and then you go to the very first little line right after the 6. So there's that 6, and then there's that first little line. That's a 16th. Okay. Assuming you're using a trimmer that has 16ths on it and not just 8ths. So we're going to go ahead and just give that a trim. And then we are going to turn it around, and we are going to trim this at 3 5/8. And I'm so sorry. I know these are weird measurements, but just bear with me. So 3 5/8 is actually 1/8 inch mark past the 3.5 mark. So there's the 16th, so it's 2 little 16th marks. So the second line after the 3.5 inch mark. Okay, so our trimming is done. We're going to go ahead and score our paper. So first, along this long edge, let's make sure our trimming part of our trimmer is pushed aside. We're going to use the score blade here, and we are going to score at 7/8. So we just put this, you'll have 2 little lines in front of the one there. And this is 7/8 of an inch. 8/8 is 1 inch. Okay, and then we're going to do 7/8 again, flipping it back around. So now we're going, this way. And we're going to go to 7/8. Then we're going to go to 2 9/16. You guys, as I'm saying this, I know it's ridiculous. Okay, so 2 9/16. Well, let's just count out 8/16. So 8/16 is a 1/2 inch. So a 9/16 is the one just past the 1/2 inch there. Let me make sure I'm right. See, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 9. Okay, so just that first line past the 1/2 inch mark. The 2.5 inch mark. Okay. And then we're going to go to 3.5. Ooh, look, a normal measurement. And then 5 1/4. Oh, yay, another normal measurement. Okay, you guys, we're done scoring this piece of Whisper White. Now let's go ahead and grab a piece of Designer Series paper. I'm using the Woven Threads designer paper from Stampin' Up, and we're just going to trim this to about, let's see, I think we're going to do 1 1/4. Let me see here. Let me grab my ruler. I'm sorry. 1.5. We're going to do a 1.5 inch. So let's make sure this is 1.5. This is pretty darn close. I'm just going to, all right, we'll trim it. I'll have this little strip left over. 1.5, and then by 6. And then this is just basically a 6-inch piece. So we'll just leave that like that. Set our trimmer aside, and now we are going to go ahead and cut some little things on our score marks. First, let's go ahead and fold and burnish on all of our score lines. And aside from kind of the wonky measurements, this actually really is a super easy box. And, you know, you might be able to adjust it with more normal measurements if you don't want it to be quite as precise as how I've got it. But I wanted it to fit neat and square. This is actually like my 4th take on this box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut just, let me stand up so I can see, just to the right of this score line here. Just because I don't like that weird little bump. And then we're going to cut this guy off right here. Just like that. Okay, and now we're gonna cut, I'm just gonna make the tiniest of little darts we're gonna cut up each of the score lines here up to that first score line. And I'm just gonna cut on either sides of the bump. Just using my paper snips. I've been running around in varying degrees of temperatures today, so I've developed a little bit of a weird little runny nose because of all the pollen outside. It's that weird mix of like, is it spring? Isn't it? I don't know. And then of course you're like, oh my gosh, am I getting sick? But no, it's just allergies. So if you hear me sniffle, it's just allergies. Nothing to raise the alarms at. Okay, so now that we've got this like this, I'm gonna take my 1.5 inch punch. And I want to have a little finger hole in the front of the box. So this is going to be the front of the box, and this piece is going to be the back of the box. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of take your 1.5 inch circle punch and line it up kind of best you can about halfway down the circle, and try to get it as in the middle of the lines as you can. So you have this little dip right there. Now you can either use tear and tape or liquid glue. I am going to use liquid glue because that's my personal favorite. And we are going to glue this together right here. So this doesn't go quite all the way to the end, so that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue right along the inside of this edge here. And then I'm going to put a little bit right along here. So I'm not going to fold it flat. I'm going to actually hold it up like this because I do want this edge to meet the corner of that, because I want the shortage to show up on the inside of the box, not the outside of the box, if you see what I mean. You might notice there's just a hair of a shortage there. I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of burnish that in just a little bit. Okay, so now we are just going to close our little box. I like it this way. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. You don't need too much. This will stay put. But if you're more comfortable using tear and tape, then go for it. It's your box. You can do what you want. Okay, and I'm going to take, actually I'm going to take the little PocketBac and just push it down in there to help burnish that there. Look at you guys. How cute is that? You just pull it out. Isn't that cute? So let's just do a little bit of decoration. We'll take our piece of paper. You'll notice that I did not score this ahead of time. And the reason is because if I were to score it exactly on the dimensions that we scored it, it would be a little tight because this is actually fitting a little bit over the box, which means that the dimensions are going to be a little bit off. And I just wanted to center this vertically between the bottom and then where that dips. So that's why I cut the paper, the width I cut it. So I want this to go about here on the back. So basically what you're going to do is just give it, kind of roughly line it up, and this does not need to be perfect, but we're going to do a quick kind of fit on it, a little dry fit, and then we're going to go around the corners. And we're not going to be crazy about burnishing this because we'll burnish it in a bit just with our fingers. Okay, so we got that down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and we want to make sure that we line it up so it is a straight fold. So we're just going to do that, and then you're going to line it up against itself here. So just like that. And then at the other end of things, just like so. And you guys, if you don't have any supplies on hand to do this, but you want to decorate your box, go grab a magazine. You know, this, you don't just, if you have a piece of cardstock laying around, Any color will do. Go grab a magazine and use that as your decoration. We can get real creative with limited supplies because we don't need to go out and be buying craft supplies. And I would say go to my online store and shop, but I don't really want to encourage you to buy too much right now, because as much as I want Stampin' Up! To remain a strong business and keep doing my job and all that, I want to make sure we all have what we need to survive. And so shop if you want. If you are affluent and have enough that you want to, obviously I would love it, but instead I'm going to encourage you to use minimal supplies and just what you have on hand. Okay, there we go. Now with that said, I will give free shipping. If you were to shop, I will refund you money personally from my personal commission that I get. I will give that to you to pay for shipping, because maybe you just need some plain cardstock and you don't want to go out to Michael's or something like that, which, because we're social distancing, so you could place an order, and that will be, I'll be doing the free shipping until this crisis is over, and as long as Stampin' Up! Is able to fulfill orders. Okay, you guys, isn't that just adorable? I love this paper so much, but let's decorate it. So this is actually ribbon that's going to be coming out in the new catalog, and we're doing a fun little pre-release of this suite called Ornate Gardens, and this ribbon is part of that suite. So let's go ahead and tie a pretty bow with this. It's the terracotta tile color. Goes really well with this Woven Threads paper. I'm going to miss this paper. Our annual catalog is about to come to a close. It won't be long before we announce our retirement list. But the nice thing is that means we have fun stuff to look forward to. And when this crisis is over and the economy is back to booming, we can buy all kinds of fun stuff and catch up. This is a great way to, use up our supplies we've been hoarding for so long, right? So maybe you have retired paper laying around. Maybe you're just starting paper crafting and don't have much in the way of supplies. Again, like I said, go find an old magazine or a catalog or something, or maybe you can print something off the internet. Royalty free, of course. I don't want to get in trouble by promoting that sort of thing, but, let's be creative with our creative supplies, and this would make a fun little gift. And I just ordered this off of Bath and Bodyworks, and it got shipped to me pretty quick. They still have these in stock last I checked. And so here's a couple others that I made. This is some paper from that Ornate Garden Suite that's about to be released. And then I've got this one here that I used with mint macaron paper. This is my first template, so I've cleaned it up quite a bit. This was pretty rough, but it's still cute, and I'm still going to give it to someone. But anyway, so I'm going to have the pattern. I have got this pattern here, and I'll have this available on my website, and I'll do a little project sheet, but you have this video to kind of walk you through what you need. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you liked this project, why don't you give me a thumbs up, and oh my gosh, I would be so honored if you would subscribe to this channel. Hopefully I'll be putting out much more content, and you can also visit me on my website. All the information is below. StampinWithTeresa.com, and Teresa is spelled Teresa. Bye.